Alright, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the top stocks to purchase right before the holidays. Now, all of these stocks are definitely pretty interesting to purchase right now, but they will especially benefit a lot from the upcoming holiday season, especially since all of these gifts are most likely going to be either digital products or products that have to do with the internet or staying at home. And all these stocks, in my opinion, are potentially pretty good buys long term as well. And I'm going to be going through all of them. Right before we jump into it, if you haven't already, make sure to sign up for Webull. They're running a limited time promotion. If you open a Webull brokerage, you're going to get 4 free stocks. If you live in the US and you haven't opened the Webull brokerage already and you want 4 free stocks, make sure to sign up down below. 2 of those stocks can be worth up to $1,600. So click the link. It literally takes 5 minutes. It's a great brokerage in my opinion. I actually use it myself. And yeah, without further ado, let's just jump straight into this. So the first stock, let's jump into it, is Activision Blizzard. I personally have a little bit of this and I'm definitely looking to buy it more as it dips further. In the last 3 months, it's been flat while they've released a brand new Call of Duty. They've released another brand new game, and those numbers are actually pretty phenomenal. And they've actually gone down 7% in the last 3 months alone, which is actually very interesting as more and more people are playing video games. If you don't know, they're in the video game space. They own Call of Duty. They own one of the biggest titles in the world that's played internationally. They own one of the highest grossing apps in the Apple App Store, like no, they don't own Clash of Clans. They own Candy Crush and stuff like that. The King actual company that creates those mobile games, and all those companies, especially the Call of Duty Activision side of things, has seen like 100% plus growth this year, and their stock is only up 43%. I think it's actually a pretty decent buy. Now, they've released a brand new Call of Duty, right? Let's say you're shopping at Walmart or Target, and you want to search, like, let's say PS5 games. You want to shop for a brand new console that you got for Christmas, right? The top game, Call of Duty, is always going to be at the top game. They actually upped the price this year by $70, so that's even more revenue coming in. And people that have a PS5, I mean, $10 is not a lot. There hasn't been too many people, pretty much no one, that's really complained by the $10 increase in price of games this year. If you want to search PS5 games, let's say on Walmart, what's the top one? This is PS4. The first one, boom, Call of Duty is right at the top. So all those people getting PS5s this year, you're more than likely going to be getting the #1 shooter game out there, which is Call of Duty Cold War. And so far, it's actually been pretty positive, the amount of people that are playing it, and they haven't released the Warzone side of things, which is their most grossing game out there. If we look at the revenues, right, let's go to their P ratio. It's only up. I'm not going to look too in depth into these stocks, but if you look at the 4P, it's only at a 23, man. If you look at the average P ratio this year, it's been at 25, it's been at 30. It was a bit overvalued at 30, I'm not going to lie, but it's under 25 forward PE. That's actually very intriguing. If you go to their, like, what they're supposed to do next year, they're supposed to do 30% this year, which is pretty standard. They're only analyzed to do 2% next year, and their 4P is that low. I think they're going to do much higher than 2% of growth next year, in my opinion, especially since people are probably going to be expected to once again stay home in the first half of next year, which is looking likely to be. But even if that wasn't the case, their revenues have been growing year over year pretty decently. 2019 was a pretty bad year for them, but 2020 they've definitely rebounded, and I think they're gonna do pretty good. So if you guys are interested, definitely look into Activision. Now, the next one I made this video last, is Corsair. Now, Corsair is definitely a pretty intriguing stock. Now, the bad thing about Corsair is it's up so much, man. Like, damn, if I bought this stock the day before I made my video yesterday, I would be up like maybe 20%, about 20%. Like, it's up so much, and that's the only bad thing about this. But even though it's up 120% since its IPO, it IPO'd at 17 and it's basically doubled, more than doubled. But even though it's doubled, if we look at Corsair's like revenues, they're still at a 4P of 28. Now, when I was looking at it, it was a 4P of 22, 23. Very intriguing, but at 28, right, anything over 25 is above average. That it's kind of like you don't want to really, the benefit and the profits to be made isn't as big in the short term, at least, isn't quite there. If we look at their revenues have been growing crazily. But if we look at their quarter revenues, they have grown quarter over quarter. They're almost doubling last year's revenue. They've almost doubled. So looking at their revenues, it's definitely pretty good. But Corsair, at the end of the day, if you guys don't know, they basically make all kinds of PC parts, right? They have RAMs, they make headsets, they make keyboards, they make like mice, stuff like that. They have everything that has to do with a PC, and they also own like Scuff, which is a controller company. They also own Origin PC, which is a pre-built PC company that's actually pretty decently big. They make custom PCs. So what are most people going to be getting for Christmas? They're going to be getting a brand new PC. They're going to get a PS4 or PS5, and they're going to be getting controllers for it with Scuff. Scuff is actually a very, in my opinion, I think it's a very good gift that a lot of people do get, that I know. And people are most likely the number one seller. If you listen to their Corsair's earnings call, they actually talked about how their headsets are probably one of the most best-selling headsets during the holiday season. And you know for sure, especially in today's climate, that a lot of people are going to be purchasing headsets, especially for they're basically Christmas gifts, right? So definitely, I do think Corsair is going to explode this holiday season in terms of their sales. I think they're probably going to reach I think they're going to have a better quarter than they did last quarter. I do really think they're going to even do better than last quarter, which last quarter, if you guys didn't know, they had one of the most insane quarters. They doubled. They had 100% more revenue than expected. They literally doubled their revenue. No one expected it, which is why they IPO'd in the best time, in my opinion, which is kind of bad for investors, but that is why their earnings were so good that the stock just shot up within the last month, right? So if this stock ever goes below 30, it's a buy, 100% buy in my opinion. If you can get the stock below 30, under 35, I do think it's okay as well, but it's a bit high right now. Definitely keep a watch on it before the holiday season. Definitely pick some up if you're interested in it. The last one is Nintendo stock. Now, man, I had Nintendo stock. I bought it in the summer of 2019, right? I bought the stock in the summer of 2019 at like I literally bought it at $33 a share. I remember 33, 35, and I sold it when it reached when it was at like 53. So I sold at about a 40% gain, which is pretty crazy, but I should have held on to it. Now it's up even more. It's $66 a share, but even at $66 a share, this is definitely a pretty good price for the stock. If we look at Nintendo, their earnings were actually pretty insane. If you look at their earnings growth, man, they're increasing revenues every single year. Even in 2020, their profits grew, which earnings can grow during this climate, but like earnings, like actual profit growing, is actually another thing in itself. They've been growing every single quarter, and I do think definitely this holiday season is going to be insane for them. If you just look at the amount of views like the Pokemon card genre is getting, Nintendo is on top of that. And the amount of people buying Pokemon cards especially, I do think the revenues are going to be insane, especially during the holidays. If we look at their PE, now they are a Japanese company, so I don't know exactly. I wouldn't really count the PE, but if you look at the average PE ratio for Nintendo, it's around 19 to 20, right? It's been 20, 19, 17, 18, 19. It's at under 18 right now. It's definitely very interesting. So definitely pick up some Nintendo. If you're looking at it, please take a look at this for yourself. Do some research. Don't buy it just because I make a video on it, but actually take a look at this for yourself. I do think it's definitely a very interesting buy. They actually, for the first time, if you go to like Nintendo Switch, right? They actually released a sale, like a holiday sale for the Nintendo Switch, which a lot of people were not expecting. I think it's a bundle. I think it's this one. And it's already sold out. Like, it's actually crazy. I think they might restock like around Thanksgiving, though, that on Black Friday time they might restock, but it's at a $522 price. When I bought my Nintendo Switch, I think I bought for like $400, $300. It is not worth $522. So it's in such high demand that they literally have to mark up the price for this. And obviously their Pokemon games do insanely well. And I do think since so many more people are watching YouTube videos on Pokemon cards, I think that's going to even bring more sales to the actual games, Pokemon games as well. If you just go on YouTube right now, search highest viewed Pokemon card videos, it's in the millions, man. Like, so many people. I'm not surprised the Pokemon card videos have gone 1 billion views in the last month. Like, it's actually insane how many people are viewing these kind of videos right now on YouTube. And I do think Nintendo is kind of underrated. Their stock is kind of underrated right now in terms of that. Like, in the last month, it's down 1%. In the last even like since its height. It reached 73. It's at 66 right now. If you can even get it like when it was at under 60, that was insane. But definitely take a look at that if you haven't already. So those have been 3 stocks I would definitely look into purchasing before the holiday season. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel. That'll mean a lot. Make sure to sign up for Webull down in the description if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next video.